into your new place, one thing I encourage you to do is to check and see how much lighting you have in each room and area. One thing about lighting is that it is a big contributor to how we feel comfortable in our home, how we enjoy our home. And our goal always for lighting in our home is that it is something that can be adjustable, something that provides us enough light to perform certain tasks, and that it helps us feel good when we're in our home. And if we can notice anything that needs to be updated ahead of time before we move everything in, such as if we need new window coverings or need to change the paint color on the walls, or even just to decide if a room needs extra lighting. This is something that's easier to do before we move all of our furniture in. And then of course, after we're living there a while, we'll make some adjustments. So what I encourage you to do is to go to your new place while everything is empty and look at each of your rooms and areas and decide if those rooms and areas have enough light, or if they have too much light, or maybe they feel a little bit dark. And another thing I want you to pay attention to is if a room looks and feels kind of cold to you. And you can also take this a step further and dig a little deeper. And I encourage you to go during the day at different times of the day. So in the morning and afternoon, and then of course again in the evening when you would be turning on your lights. But also what you can think about doing is looking at each room a little bit more in depth and noticing what areas of the room receive more light than maybe other areas of the room. And that could change throughout the day. But taking note of that maybe there's a corner in a room that's always kind of in shadow. Well, that might be a good clue for you to think of, oh, okay, maybe we need to add in a floor lamp in that corner or something to bring in more light to that part of the room. And one thing to keep in mind is that how a room has more light or less light or just enough light is because of a number of different factors. One of the big influencers on how much light we have coming into our home, especially how much natural lighting is coming into our home, is influenced by everything on the outside. So one thing to pay attention to is in a room where you notice that maybe it has too much light or not enough light. Well, maybe it's the time of year. When it is the winter time, the sun is at a lower angle. And if we have a room on the south-facing side, that is going to receive lots of warm light during the winter. But that will change when the summer season begins. And maybe it's a cloudy day outside when you are looking at the natural lighting in a home. So just keep that in mind when the weather clears up, that maybe those rooms will become much more brighter. Another thing to notice outside on the exterior part of where you live is what type of plants and trees are in the landscape near your home. So if you have deciduous trees during the summer that have all their leaves on them, but then in the fall or winter, they don't have any leaves and more light is able to come into your home. That's just something to keep in mind. Or maybe your home has lots of evergreen types of trees or shrubs near your home that are always going to provide shade. And so just take note of that as well. And all of these exterior factors that will change and vary throughout the day or seasonally really do influence how much light is filtered through our windows into our room. And because of that, it's kind of a nice thing in a way, because then we'll have kind of different layers of lighting. It's not just this static thing, but just pay attention to that. If there's something outside that may be causing your room or area to have more light or less. And then, of course, the other thing to notice that is contributing to how much light a room has is what is going on in the room. And if the walls and the flooring are in lighter colors, well, most likely that'll help to brighten up the space compared to a room that has darker colors. And when you're there in the evening, you'll want to take notice of what type of artificial lighting is built into your home. It may be just a ceiling fixture that's in the center of the room, or maybe some of your rooms don't have any type of built-in artificial lighting. And so that's something to take note of that ahead of time, because then you'll be able to remember that, okay, certain rooms will need extra types of lighting or extra layers of lighting so that the room has enough light and that it can be adjusted. And if you have a combination where a room faces north, as well as maybe having a cooler feeling paint color on the wall, there may be a sense that that room is colder than what it may actually be. And so that's something to take notice of, because we want to make sure that the lighting and the look and feel to every room in our home helps us feel comfortable. So what can you do if you notice certain areas or certain rooms in your home look out of balance in regards to light? Maybe they have too much light or not enough light. And we want to go back to that nice goal of creating a comfortable environment where we can adjust lighting and make sure that we have enough lighting and that it helps us feel good about being in our home. If you have a room or area that looks and feels too dark, there are a couple things that you can try. One thing is you could try painting the walls in the room in a lighter color. And what we're talking about is the concept of value, and value has to do with how light or dark something is. When something is lighter, whether that's a color or different types of materials, it will reflect more light. And the opposite of that are dark materials and colors, because darker colors absorb more light, and that gives a different look and feel. So when you paint a room in a lighter color, that is just going to automatically create a lighter and brighter space. You can even take it further and look for flooring materials that are in a lighter color. And one area that's especially important to help really reflect light and kind of have it spread down into our room is our ceiling. Whether that's natural light that's kind of bouncing off a nice light colored ceiling, or maybe you have a ceiling fixture centered in the room and there's some light, even just a little bit, coming out and bouncing off the ceiling. Well, that's going to help spread some light down into the room, helping to create a brighter space. You could also think about other large areas in a room. That could be a kitchen with lots of cabinetry, or maybe a bathroom with lots of dark tile all over the wall. If you want to create maybe a bigger project, that's maybe where you'd want to paint the cabinets in a lighter tone or stain them in a lighter tone, or to change out the wall tile to a lighter color. And of course, any lighter colors and materials that you bring into your home will also help to contribute to a lighter and brighter space. And at the same time, that you still use some darker colors as well, so you have variety and contrast going on in that space. The other part to think about is the artificial lighting part. So if you have a dark room, well, it may be simply that there isn't even a light fixture in that room. Sometimes that happens in bedrooms, and so we have to come in and add artificial lighting. And this is a good thing to know ahead of time before anything takes place and anything is put in your new home. You'll know that, okay, we need to add some table lamps or a floor lamp in certain areas so that the room has a nice balance of light. And maybe even switching out some ceiling light fixtures or other light fixtures in your home so that they do provide more light. Maybe a light fixture on a ceiling that maybe shines up a little bit more, so some of that light is reflected off the ceiling and into your room will help to brighten things up. And also with artificial lighting, it's always important to try to have something that's adjustable. So that would mean on your switches, some sort of adjustability so that you can bring in more light or lessen the light when you need to. Then with the other scenario, what happens if you have a room that has way too much light? And maybe this has to do with a certain time of day. Maybe you have a window that is facing the east in the morning and all that morning light is coming into the room. Well, that's where you may want to check out what type of window coverings are there. Making sure that you have nice window coverings that will help to filter the light and that are adjustable. And this is a good time to change things out and find some window coverings, new blinds, new shades, or even draperies or curtains that will help you achieve a more balanced look and a more adjustable way of filtering light in and out of that room. And this might be an opportunity to use deeper or darker colors in a room where you have lots of light, and you'll still have plenty of light in there, but you have that option of maybe deepening the colors, whether that's on your walls or maybe deeper colors on furniture is a nice option to have when you already have plenty of natural light coming into the room. And with a room that has darker colors, say on the wall, and lots of dark colors used throughout, it's still important to help reflect some light into the room for the day lighting, natural lighting, as well as for artificial lighting. And that is where I would still recommend painting our ceiling a light color to help reflect as much light down into the room as possible. And at night, we will still need to make sure we have plenty of artificial lighting, plenty of layers or different types of lighting in a room to make sure that we still are able to enjoy our environment during the nighttime and that we're still able to see everything very easily. So that's still very important at night when we need to make sure we have enough artificial lighting so that our home is comfortable and enjoyable. And what do you do if you have a room that looks and feels kind of cold to you? And maybe it faces north and there's a wall color that's kind of contributing to that. Well, this is where you'd want to maybe change out the wall paint color and do this now before you move in. What you'd want to look for are wall colors that are on the warmer side. So colors that have yellow in them. So that could be yellow itself or orange, even some types of warmer reds. It could be neutrals that have a warmer tone to them, or even gray that has more of a warmer undertone to it, so it's more of a taupey color. And even whites, because when we look for white pink colors, we can look for very cool bluish tones of colors, but we can also find warmer tones that will just help to warm up that space. And the other thing to look at is all of the light bulbs in all of your artificial lighting and making sure whether you have a room that looks and feels cold or not, making sure that throughout your home that you are choosing light bulbs that are on the warmer side or maybe even on the neutral side. And this is what's referred to as the Kelvin color temperature scale. And there will be light bulbs that are on the warmer side, meaning that they have a yellowy tone to them, all the way over to light bulbs that have more of a bluish tone to them. And in our homes, I think that having a warmer, cozier, light color to our lighting or a neutral type where it's kind of just in the center is a good direction to go instead of choosing a more blue or cooler type of light bulb. So make sure you take some time to check the color temperature of all of the artificial lighting in your home so that it contributes to a warm and comfortable feeling. And when we're talking about lighting in our home, this is something that's super important to take notice of and something that we can adjust a little bit. And when we do this before we move into our new place, the better we'll be. And then, of course, when we move in and add all of our furnishings, we can refine everything and adjust from there. So I'd love to find out from you, what are your ideas on helping to adjust the lighting in our home? So please share your ideas in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next time when we discover more neat things about interior design. Take care.